Good morning. It's just started snowing, and I'm not happy about that. But I'm happy to be here. Smooth transition. Yeah. Um, Good morning. Um, so, you will recall, a week ago, I picked up this big weird fruit. You'll remember a couple weeks ago, I picked one up very similar to this big weird fruit that was about half the size. Tried to eat it and it was rock hard, but I loved the flavor. So I went and found another one. And I looked up how they ripen. And it said just leave it out until it's soft. Well, this one had a gentle give to it on Thursday. And now it's got a dent in it. And it's got a pretty noticeable squish. And it's also gone flat on the side that was down under its own weight, which means it's probably now over. I think I should have eaten it yesterday or possibly even Thursday. So this is over, and I'm hoping that it's still good on the inside and just kind of soft. If you're not familiar, which I would hazard many of you are not, this is the Mamey Sapote, a fruit from southern Mexico and Central America. It's supposed to be bright salmon color to orange on the inside. And from my brief taste of the super underripe one, it has a flavor of amaretto and vanilla. And you can't smell it through the skin. I absolutely loved the flavor, but I couldn't eat the dang thing because it was so hard and underripe. So I picked up another one, ripened it. We're going to crack it open and see. Then we're going to figure out what to do with it. I have a general idea. I think we're going to probably serve it with pancakes, which doesn't take very long, but we'll see what it looks like on the inside. Fingers crossed. I'm also on a quest to use things up. I've been trying to utilize the entirety of many ingredients before they go off. And to that end, I've got some buttermilk that I picked up for a recipe earlier. Didn't use the whole thing. So that's kind of what led me to pancakes, was make some buttermilk pancakes. If I had a waffle iron, I would make waffles. I have tried to make waffles on the cast iron grill pan, and they stuck horribly. I just don't think my seasoning is good enough on that to give you a good release. In theory, you can use that thing to make waffles. In theory. But we need to break this thing open, because this is the main event. This beastie is our main event today. And although there's nobody here to watch me quite yet, I got to get into the thing. I'm also very hungry. I've eaten nothing today. I might end up with a little bit of a shorter show because I've got fresh fruit, and pancakes don't take very long at all. In fact, no, we're going to cut this open first. Before I do anything else, we're going to cut this open. And I'm not going to avoid that blemish because I want to see what it looks like there. It's certainly soft. There's also a big old seed right in the middle, like an avocado. The last one of these I cut. It's bright orange on the inside. Oh, there you have it. Get the seed out of there. the seed, by the looks of it, has actually started to try to sprout. Which means we're definitely over the hill on this one. That blemish doesn't look like it was anything other than a soft spot because there's no real discoloration. There's a little bit of discoloration there, but that's from the husk of the seed, which, God, I kind of want to plant this thing now, this gigantic seed, and see what it does. Because it's definitely sprouting at this point. Interesting. Fascinating. Uh, Part two, first of all, I can immediately tell you this thing is not hard like a potato. From the first one. Um, we've got a much softer interior, and I want to taste it straight up before anything else. Ooh, you can scoop it with a spoon. It's a little bit fiber, actually. There's a little bit of fiber running the length of it. But oh, mm-hmm. So it's sweet, but it's actually not as sickly sweet as I was expecting for how overripe this is. Um, it has this really interesting, like, vanilla custardy flavor to it. Zaizan, welcome in. You're first. Look at this thing. Behold the thing. Mm. I could eat that with a spoon. I could just eat that with a spoon. It also helps that I'm very hungry. Thank you for the moisten. Mm. Moist. We're definitely probably 2 days over ideal ripeness. Um, partially exemplified by the fact that the seed has split and started to sprout. Um, but it's very delicious. Um, it's one of those things where I'm not sure what to do with it. I kind of just want to eat it with a spoon, which doesn't make for a very good show. It's not juicy either. It's very. Let's see what I compare this to. It's like the consistency of cooked squash. So you can scoop it with a spoon, but it still has some fiber to it. The one I had that was super, super underripe had a really striking almond, like amaretto flavor to it, which is not prominent here. This is much, actually much, it's still a lovely flavor. Um, That's the thing, I'm not sure. I was trying to read for recommendations. The top recommendation for what to do with this is to turn it into a milkshake or turn it into ice cream. Like combine it with dairy is what people are, I guess, the primary thing. I kind of want to plant the seed and see what it turns into. There is no way that this thing is going to survive in my climate. It is never going to get enough sun. Even if I keep it warm in the winter, it is never going to get enough sun to turn into a tree. Um, it's just gonna. I probably pull it through the summer as a little sprout, as a little seedling, but then it is going to die as soon as the weather turns, as soon as the season turns. So I might just not put it through that. Because these things grow in very tropical southern Mexico, the tropical part of southern Mexico and Central America. So wet, wet equatorial tropics. Um, yes, alas, uh, I don't even think it would be a good decorative because it probably needs a ton of sunlight. Um, I did look up the growing zone for these things, and they cultivate them in the south of Florida sometimes, but the recommended growing zone is simply listed as tropical. So, yeah, maybe not. Um, it's very good. It's a very good fruit. I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't have a stronger that almond flavor that I was really keying on. It's still very good, but that amaretto flavor, I just love that. And the fact that that underripe one jumped out at me with that flavor made me really want to try this again. Um, interesting. Interesting. So I'm going to set it aside and think. Um, my first instinct is because I want it to be fresh fruit. I just want it to be like fresh fruit. We're not cooking it. It's very, very soft. It'd probably go to mush if we cooked it. And also, I'm afraid of cooking it too much because when I did cook the underripe one, we lost some of its fruity flavor. Um, so I would like to probably keep it uncooked. And the recommendations to combine it with dairy are interesting, but just making a smoothie would take 5 minutes. Um, since it's sweet and tropical, I thought combining it, using it like we would, we could try making, oh, hmm. Okay, the wheels are turning, and I had already been thinking about pancakes. I was looking at custards. I was looking at custards. I was looking at flan, actually. When I was looking at recipes for this, there was a recommendation to make a flan out of it. The problem is, I would not be able to eat that flan until tomorrow. Um, so you could do it, but then there'd be a lot of standing around waiting for it to bake. Why is my camera so blown out today? Um, there'd be a lot of standing around waiting for the flan to bake, and then there'd be a lot of standing around waiting for the flan to cool, and then we would put it in the fridge and we'd eat it tomorrow. Um, so while I'm certain it would be delicious, um, I'm looking for something more short form this time around. Um, we could potentially try a different kind of custard. Hmm. That's a potential idea. We could potentially try a different type of custard. I still think the pancakes are a good idea. So I'm going to now set the beastie aside. Also, I haven't had pancakes in ages, and I want pancakes. So we're making some pancakes, or at least we're making up some batter for pancakes. Um, why is my camera so blown out? Hold on, I'm going to futz with the camera settings for a sec. Is that better? It looks better. A little bit less total blown out. The reflection off the knife isn't helping. Um, yeah, exactly. The reflection off the knife isn't helping matters. Um, I mean, ultimately, the reason my camera is always so blown out and I have so much problems with it is because I have a white surface and a cheap camera. Sorry, I poked you in the eye just now. Um, I need a replace this camera with a better camera that can handle variable lighting. And also, it'd be nice to not have a white worktop. White surfaces are terrible for cameras. You'll never see these in like cooking shows. It's always some sort of gray or brown, neutral color, so that they can point cameras at it without it blowing it all out. But let's make pancakes. Just move the knife, and let's leave this guy here so everyone can see what we're dealing with. Yeah. Move the board. I could, and actually I've looked up. You'll remember I used to use the color, that black rectangle over here, and I've been fiddling with other settings to try to get away from that. And as part of that, I looked up. It's like a sticky film that goes over your worktop that comes in like neutral grays and stuff. And I could just put that down. It's like a thick vinyl. Problem is my countertop is this weird L-shaped thing, so that also is an issue. I can't just get a big rectangle and slap it down. I've got to work out how to put it on this weird L shape. Smaller pancake bowl. Also, welcome in, Felix. Good morning. Here's our weird fruit. We cut into it already. Say, you've got a green thumb, right? You want to try growing a tropical tree? The seed is trying to sprout. I feel like there's no way to keep it alive in this climate, but... Nomios? Is this your first time here, Nomi? Welcome in, good morning! We've got a big weird fruit. Ask me about it, and I will tell you things. And while you're asking me about it, I don't have an intro. Nomi has a fantastic intro on Billy's channel that I can't replicate. Audio intros. Well, welcome in. Here's our big weird fruit. Here's what it looks like on the outside. I'm considering what to do with it. I'm considering what to do with the big weird fruit while I make pancakes. We're gonna make pancakes this morning. This for big weird fruit is called the Mamey Sapote, which I can spell for you. A couple weeks ago, I found one at the grocery store, and I picked it up, not knowing much about it. And I picked up the smallest one they had because I was afraid of not liking it and afraid of it being pretty expensive. And I cut into it, cracked into it, and it was hard as a rock. Like, super hard. Hard like a raw sweet potato. But the flavor, when I nibbled on it, was divine. although it was almost impossible to eat on account of being so hard and also extremely dry. The flavor was like amaretto and vanilla and custard all at once. And I was enthralled, but I couldn't figure out how to use the damn thing because it was so hard. We put it in the fridge, and I came back around to it, and I shredded it up and tried to make hash browns because I figured if it's hard like potato, I'll cook it like potato. Cooking it like that blew all the flavor out of it, and it just tasted like kind of neutral. It still had the custardiness to it, but it lost all the like bright tropical flavors. So I don't want to cook this one now because I'm afraid of losing those again. I've got a recipe for. I've actually got 2 recipes for pancakes from the same place that have different uh, proportions. Funny you should say smoothie. Smoothie is the most recommended use for this thing aside from just eating it with a spoon out of the skin, which it's definitely soft enough to do at this point because this one is mega ripe. But eating with a spoon is not really very entertaining viewing, so we're not doing that. The other recommendation is ice cream. I guess it's a popular ice cream flavor in the places where it grows, which is tropical Mexico and Central America, south of tropical Mexico. Now I could make ice cream, and I've done ice cream before. I've got a nice ice cream flavor, a nice ice cream recipe that I like to do. Issue with that is I can prep it up, but then it takes 4 hours to freeze, so I can't really show it off to you guys. This thing's big enough that I might do that anyways and have extra, because this is a pretty big fruit. I gotta figure out how much buttermilk I've got. We're also using stuff up. I've got some buttermilk that needs to be used up, so I'm leaning towards pancakes and turning this into some kind of topping. As I need to use up some buttermilk. No baked cheesecake. Now, one of the other recommendations I did come across when I was looking for recipes was a flan, which is very similar to a cheesecake. Issue with that is, of course, a flan needs to rest a long time. Cheesecakes also need to rest. I've made cheesecakes here on the show multiple times before, actually, and the issue I always have with them is that once they're done cooking, the cooking process is just about right for a good show. When they're done, they need to rest. They need to rest for a long time, or they will just split apart. I've never done a no-bake, but I assume they have a long resting time as well. That's always a consideration. Like, I have all these fun ideas for things, but I always have to consider the time frame of doing it on a show. I can't sit here for 8 hours. Okay, that's a cup and a half of mostly buttermilk. So there's enough of this to go around that I'm probably going to get multiple uses out of it. We could, I could, but then I'd have something, I would need something else to do is the problem. And my current setup is not really very good for that. Also, yeah, well, I don't know if baking ruins it. uh, uh, the flavors. Honestly, it could have been a fluke just because that one was so weirdly underripe. Again, that one was so weirdly underripe that it didn't. I don't think it behaved like any of the things that you're supposed to. What was I getting? I was getting out an egg. Um, I don't make pancakes at home very often, so I am kind of following a recipe. Um, I'm also kind of hybridizing a recipe because I don't have enough buttermilk. Um, I want to build Legos, but I can't afford the Legos. Legos are expensive. I also don't like the camera that I've got in the other room, which is where the Legos are. I looked back at my own, the time I did do Legos. I suppose I could do Legos right here, right here. That's not a bad shout, actually. I was doing Legos in the other room there, and I didn't like how that camera looked when I watched it back. Um, but I didn't think of doing it right here because this is a decent. Yeah, you're right. This is a decent like overhead shot, pretty good resolution. The other camera in the other room is terrible. It was a $5 at Goodwill, and I think I overpaid for it. I need to get a tall chair so I can. Because this is a kitchen countertop, so it's high. So I need a tall chair. There's also no place to put my knees. I wanted to pre-beat the egg there because I wasn't sure I would get it beaten properly in the liquid. Nope, we have an ad coming up. Caution, caution, alert, alert, ad. Oh, Naomi. I don't want to call you out, but thank you for the follow. Um, put oil in these. I think you're supposed to put a little bit of oil in these. Which I'm just gonna eyeball. Boop. Let's throw some. You know what? Not vanilla. Almond. I try to make a habit of not. Try to not make a habit of calling out follows, but I was caught off guard. I know some people are. I suppose you can't see me now because there's an ad running, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm kind of following a recipe, and I'm kind of just winging it. Like I know what pancake batter is supposed to look like, so we should get a pan ready as well. Can't make pancakes without the pan part. Um, which we should also get warming in advance because you want your pan nice and warm before you throw anything in it. What else was I adding to this? I'm just kind of winging it. I'm kind of looking at your recipe and I'm kind of winging it, which means I'm getting super distracted. You know, as you do. Every good chef gets wildly distracted in the. Okay, Naomi. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day. Hope to see you again sometime. I know my times are a little bit weird for some people. Glad to have you. Don't be a stranger. Other affectations of affection. Sugar. Making like dessert pancakes. I think that's what goes into pancakes. Compared to the other pancake recipe, which has less sugar, more salt, less flour, less liquid, more egg, more oil. I don't know. They're pancakes. It's hard to mess them up. You know, just make pancakes. If I was to write a recipe for pancakes, it would be step 1, make pancakes. Step 2, eat pancakes. You have now had pancakes. So let's make pancakes. Add the wet to the dry. Scrape down the bowl. Suddenly it smells like hamburgers in here. That's not normal. We might need more liquid in this batter. It's getting a little thick. It's a little thick for my taste. Let's give it another half of milk. Standard old milk. Standard whole milk. I always use whole milk. I grew up with 2%. My parents still, I think, go for 2%. There, that's more of a pancake batter. Yes, you were not first today, Selena. Also, welcome in. Hello. Now that's a pancake batter. And it smells faintly almondy, which I quite like. I wonder if it's going to be strong enough to notice. But we're putting nice tropical flavors on top of it, so let's get some. Let's move the pancake batter over near the pan and get a plate to catch them on. I did not talk through that recipe at all, not even a little bit. I just did it. Step one: make pancakes. I already said that. I don't know. There's 1,000. We are in fact making can cakes. Correct. Where's my cutting board? Where's my cutting board? We're making pancakes because it's the thing that I thought of that would be a good way to use up this big weird fruit as a topping option on our pancakes. The batter's mixed up. Should I make the topping stuff first or the pancakes first? It'll probably cool off if I make the pancakes first. So we probably should stop the pan because the batter will hold at least a little while. While I work out this guy. So let's get back over here. Get our big weird fruit. And let's get, probably don't even need all of that, put maybe half of that guy out of there. Boy, the difference between this thing when it was not ripe and this thing when it was ripe is amazing. Oops, caught it. When it was not ripe, I was struggling to get through it with a knife and a grater. And now that it's ripe, that part's a little, okay, there are some spots on it. We let it go a little bit too long in certain spots. Okay. Noted. Not 100% success rate. Take that brown spot out of there. I hope that my local grocery store keeps getting big weird fruits so I can keep trying them. Because we've had some big successes so far. had some massive successes, and I would love that train to keep going. It'd also be nice if they were very affordable, which they generally are not. Breadfruit is back. Favorite of me, breadfruit, is back in my local once again. I'm gonna mash this like a potato. Again, it's like the consistency of a cooked squash. It definitely doesn't need any cooking. The breadfruits are pretty small right now. I think they're just coming into season in their growing zone, but I'm glad to see them back, and they're cheaper than they were last season, so that's also nice. I'm almost going to make a board sauce out of this. If you're not familiar with a board sauce, it's a sauce that is particularly boring. No, it's a sauce that's made directly on a cutting board instead of not on a cutting board. And you use the flat surface of the board to mash your ingredients. I don't usually think of a board sauce as a sweet thing. I think of them like very herby, sort of thick sauces are usually a board sauce, where you're just mincing up the herbs, throwing the oil on the board, and kind of mushing it all together. But this stuff is so soft that I think if we kind of mash it out like this, we can get it into a really nice paste. Interesting. So, nice paste. Let's get it into our little bowl here. And then combining it with dairy was what everyone was recommending. Various forms of combining it with dairy, be it the custard pies or the shakes or the ice creams. The unifying element between all of those is the fact that they are dairy-based. So, I'm just going to mash it into some cream. And we can kind of build a sauce out of it. It's a little bit fibrous. I think we would have to force it through a strainer or stick it in a high-speed blender to get it really smooth. Let's taste it. Whoa. Whoa! That's really good. Wow! Okay, I understand why they put dairy in all the recipes. The flavor of this thing combines with the flavor of the cream super well. Oh man, it kind of wakes up the tropical. It wakes up the tropicalness of it a lot. It's whoa. It also makes it look like smoked salmon cream cheese. We're gonna add some honey, an uncertain amount, because it's a bit less sweet than I think I want it to be for a pancake topping. Which is interesting because this tropical fruit isn't overwhelmingly sweet. And I'm also going to try to thin it out with a splash of just plain old milk. Because I want it to be a little bit runnier. But let me tell you, the flavor of this fruit combines with dairy into just a magical combination. I can see why this is an ice cream flavor. I might have to actually do that now. That was super good. This stuff is a little bit lumpy. It's the consistency I want, but now it's a little bit muted from the milk. Still beautiful. Less in your face, though. I would love that to be smoother. But I don't want to destroy any of my stuff trying to smooth it out. I can probably work out how to make that work. Put the heat back on our pan. Interesting. And that's only half. That's more than enough, and that's only half of this, half of a thing. I'm very impressed with this fruit. It's easy to, once it's ripe, it's easy to use. It tastes lovely. Lovely. Let's see. We're gonna move over to the pancakes now. Starting with some butter in the pan. And then, yes, we are going to be making pancakes. I don't need the whisk here anymore. But I need a scooper. I like this scooper for pancakes because of the little spouts on the side, so you can have more control. Otherwise, any standard ladle will get the job done. And the first pancake always comes out weird. That's just the rule of pancakes. Oh, we need a flipper. for these pancakes as well. The first pancake always comes out weird because the pan is never quite perfectly ready for them when you do your first one. It's a heat thing. You can get the first one to come out great. And I've done it. I did it when I was working at the kitchen at the university because they had a griddle. The griddle was set to a specific temperature and it was hot before I even got there. And you oil the thing down and then you just make 50 pancakes at a clip. And they all come out exactly the same because the surface is consistently heated. That's why your first pancake always comes out weird, is because your surface is not the correct temperature for the first pancake. You know what would have been good with this? You know what would have been good with this stuff? We could have done a whipped cream mousse with this stuff and whipped cream folded together so it's light and airy. That would have been good. We would have really had to smooth it out though. The fibers in the fruit are just a little bit resistant to breaking down, so you end up with these little lumps. That pan's probably hot. Let's do a test pancake. The pan is definitely not hot enough. This first pancake is going to come out weird. Well, like I said, the first pancake comes out weird because the pan's not the right temperature. That's always the reason. Always the reason. We'll still get a pancake out of this, but it's going to be a weird one. It's going to be a snacking pancake. But yeah. I should cut some of the fresh fruit out of there so I can have little cubes. We could do whipped cream as well. I already diluted this with milk, and now I'm regretting it a little bit. No, it's still a very lovely flavor. These are American-style pancakes. If you're not familiar with American-style pancakes, they cook faster than this when the pan's the correct temperature. But they're like thick and fluffy, as opposed to British pancakes, which I've only recently discovered shouldn't be called cakes at all. They're not cakey. There's nothing cake about them. This guy's probably a little bit too big too, but I like big pancakes, so that's fine. And the way I know to cook pancakes is you get the batter to the right consistency, which I believe we have, and then you put it in a hot pan, and when the bubbles on the upper surface start to pop, you flip it. We've got an ad coming up, so I'll be making pancakes while you guys get an ad. Ooh, pardon me. Little burp. Also, when it slides like that, it's probably okay to flip. This one's weird, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it now. Because this is our weird failure pancake. Because this one's our weird failure pancake. There's always a weird failure pancake. because there's too much oil in the pan and the pan's not hot enough, things like that. Usually the pan's not hot enough. So the first pancake soaks up some of the oil. Usually not supposed to do one that's quite this big for your first one. But also, the pan wasn't hot enough. You can tell by how pallid the top is despite how long it was in there. And it's got this little lip on the edge, and that comes from there being too much oil and it frying um, in the oil more than you typically want. I'm also not afraid of, especially for the first one, of flipping it back and forth a couple times. It's a nice fluffy pancake at least. I'm going to keep fussing with this sauce until I ruin it. I just know it. I just know I'm going to keep fussing with this until I've completely ruined it. Goldie. It's not a bad first pancake, but it's definitely not a perfect pancake. Oop. We're going to pull it off and call that the first pancake. Second pancake should be better. It should also be much faster because the pan is properly heated. Nope, I've already fussed. I've already added a little bit more honey and a little bit of almond extract to the stuff. Daisy, thank you for the moisten. Moist. Okay, no more fussing. That is one of the most delightful things I've ever tasted. I just wish it was nice and smooth. See, we're getting much better bubbles on the surface for this one. Looks much better already. Someone asked me why, because everyone has a hydrate command. It's one of the default commands. Oh, there's an add in progress still. It's one of the default commands is hydrate. Someone asked me, well, why did you name yours moisten? Well, obviously. Obviously. Why wouldn't you name it moisten? We've got bubbles on the surface, so if you slide, do you slide? Not really. You have to get in there under this guy. Now that's a pancake. Now that's a pancake. That's what I'm talking about. Compare. The first one always comes out weird. That's a pancake. They don't take very long either. It's probably, honestly, just about done. Yeah. But when I think of a pancake, that's a pancake. I'm going to tick our temperature down a little bit because I think we're going to overheat in a second. Then we're going to have black pancakes, and that's the other end of. If you turn the temperature up because your pancakes aren't going fast enough, you'll end up with blackened pancakes. I wish I had a griddle for this. Griddle pancakes are the best pancakes because you can get a really nice, super thin sheen of oil on the griddle. And the griddle is also big enough that it has a very, very, very consistent temperature. And by griddle, I don't mean one of those little things that you perch on your stove. I mean one of those big flat top stainless steel things, like a diner griddle. Those things make the best pancakes. Um, you can't usually get those at home. You can't usually get those at home. But if you ever run across the chance to use one of them, they make perfect pancakes. They make perfect French toast. They make perfect. If you want a gallon of scrambled eggs, you can make a gallon of scrambled eggs on those things. These pancakes are coming out great. So we're still on step 1 of the recipe. Step 1, make pancakes. They do like to stick. We're going to get a pretty hefty stack of pancakes out of this. This is definitely a pancakes for a group. But that's fine because I have eaten nothing today except for some water, thanks to Cizan, and a small morsel of our big weird fruit, just as a taste tester. So I will be tucking in to these pancakes with a gusto. It also means I want to get them done. We're likely to have a little bit of a shorter day because pancakes don't take very long. It's just going to be however long it takes me to get through all these pancakes, and then we're going to make a nice, wonderful, decorative. Oh man, they smell so good. If you've never cooked while ravenously hungry, be careful. You'll want to just stuff everything in your face the moment it's off the cooker. Likewise, if you've ever shopped while hungry, you'll just pile everything in. Never shop hungry. I should have this somewhere where we can all enjoy the stack as it grows. I should eat the bottom one, the tester pancake, but it's going to make the stack all the more impressive if I leave it. I should probably do is eat more of this big weird fruit with a spoon while I'm waiting. I'll tell you about it. So, there are, in my research, 3 kinds of sapote that are typically found, and they are 3 completely unrelated plants. Uh, oops, I got stuck on that one. There are 3 completely unrelated plants. The Mamey Sapote is this one, the one I've got. Orange on the inside, brown on the outside. Has this lovely vanilla custardy flavor. The other 2 variety are also called sapote because they come from the Nahuatl language. And in the Nahuatl language, the word sapote just means any soft fruit that you can eat raw. So the name is meaningless. But the other 2 are the white sapote and the black sapote. The white one is white on the inside. The black one is, as the name suggests, black on the inside. Supposedly, it tastes like and is the consistency of chocolate pudding inside this fruit. You cut it open and you eat it with a spoon. I've never seen one of these. I've never seen one. That's a big pancake. If I ever see one of these, you're darn tootin', I'm gonna grab it and eat it here. And the black sapote is actually related to persimmons. It's in the persimmon group. So it's literally shaped like a persimmon, except it's this weird, ugly color on the outside, and then it is jet black on the inside. So if we ever find one of those, you can bet your bippy we're gonna play with it. Although I worry that we're actually not gonna play with it. We're just gonna eat it raw because it sounds like you just eat it raw. It sounds like you don't have to do anything to it. Oh. Yeah, I've been reading since I discovered some of these fruits at my local store. I've been reading about other tropical fruits, and I'm increasingly thinking like, oh man, the world made a mistake when it selected which fruits are going to be the ones that everyone in the world eats. 'Cause damn, there are some really interesting ones that just nobody's got except right where they grow, right where they're native. Even my local, the pawpaw, these little not little, they're about the size of a potato. They taste like bananas and pineapples, and they're just native to the middle of the U.S. But nobody sells them. Nobody like cultivates them. You just have to be lucky. Sorry, I heard something out that window. The ones that, and I know why they picked the ones they did uh, for business reasons in the U.S. It's because they're the ones that store and ship. Not because they're the ones that are the tastiest. They're the ones that they could put on trains and get to market. That's the real reason. That's why the red delicious apple somehow became the main apple. They're really storage hardy. Likewise with iceberg lettuce. Iceberg lettuce is tasteless and nutritionally deficient, but it keeps super, super, super well. This stack of pancakes is ridiculous. I've heard tell that they're trying to breed back the Red Delicious because they were selected for so long for shape, color, and shelf stability. And now everyone hates them. So I've heard that they're trying to breed them backwards to see if they can figure out how to get them to taste good. I think they might just be outcompeted in the market right now. I don't think my local grocery store even has Red Delicious anymore. They've got all these other varieties that are just tasty. I love apples. I grew up with apple trees, and I learned to absolutely love apples, and I don't like Red Delicious. Although I've never had one right off the tree. Apple. Oh, I love a fresh apple. Just chomp into it. Very, very, very satisfying fruit. But yeah, I've never actually had one right off the tree, so I would believe that they're probably better right off the tree than shipped. See, I think Honeycrisps are a little bit too sweet for me. That one I just had in my hand was a Brayburn. The ones I grew up with, I think, were Macintosh. For a while, I really liked the Granny Smith because they are quite tart. This last pancake's gonna be weird too because we're gonna pour it right out of the pan, so it's gonna be small, just so I don't waste any batter. But I've kind of fallen back on Granny Smiths as well. I like the tartness, but they're not good. They're not quite good eating apples. They have a very firm skin. I'll still eat them. If you give me a Granny Smith apple, I'm still going to eat it. I'm not going to say no. The only one I'll probably say no to is the Red Delicious. But yeah, I also don't go for Honeycrisps because they're usually more expensive because it's this well-known, well-marketed cultivar that carries a higher price. There's a new one now, the Cosmic Crisp. It's even more Honeycrisp than Honeycrisp or some nonsense like that, and it's also more expensive. Oh, see, I love eating. I just love crunching into. I just love crunching into an apple. I find it super satisfying. Um, hot take. Hot take. Strawberries are overrated. I said it. I stand by it. The last pancake didn't come out weird at all. I thought it was going to be a little bit funny, but it came out just perfect. I'm ready for him. This is America. Police can't come into my house. There's our pancakes. There's some pancakes. Let me show them off. Behold, I have made a stack of pancake. We perfected along the way. The first one's weird. The second one's a little bit over browned. but they become this beautiful golden brown toward the top. Oh. That's that's probably 2 pounds of pancakes. Anybody want a pancake? Here, have a pancake. That's a stack of pancakes. We might do some curation of the plate here before I decorate them. I've had fresh, locally picked strawberries, and I maintain my assertion. I'm going to take 2 of these pancakes off. There. Still a glorious stack of pancakes. But now it's just 5 instead of 7, and we've gotten the weird one off of there, as well as the one that's slightly overdone. Yes, one of my friends, Felix brings up a point, but I'm going to have to clarify. One of my friends tapped a silver maple, and last week, the event I was going to that I was taking my cornbread to was a syrup boiling party, where we boiled down the maple sap into syrup, and apparently it turned out great. It wasn't ready. It took forever, so it wasn't ready when we were there, but apparently it turned out great. And if I had some now, I would put it here. I don't. Instead, I have, and we'll see if I can't make it look a little bit less. Oh, 3 days. That's quite a while. So this stuff came out a little bit lumpy. There's not really any way to avoid that. I don't really want to syrup this up too hard. I'm going to give it a drizzle of honey. These are buttermilk pancakes too, so I'm not going to butter them up because they've got quite a bit of rich dairy in them already. But I do kind of want to put another thing right on top real quick. Let's make a space for it. I'm going to, should have thought of this. Ooh. Hold on, I gotta put it down. I can't float. I can't hover with it. I can't hover with it. Yeah. We might need the bigger whisk actually. It'll give us more agitation power. So yeah, making whipped cream from scratch is a workout, which is good because then you earn your whipped cream. I'm adding a dab of vanilla and I would add a dab of powdered sugar. My powdered sugar is not open, and I really don't want to deal with that right now. So a dab of, ooh, no. Hold on, I gotta dig through my syrups. I gotta dig through my syrups for Lyle's Golden. If you've never had this, I pity you. It'd be a good pancake topping too. But yes, it's a forearm workout. I've said it multiple times before, and I will say it now again. Never get into a fight with a pastry chef, a pâtissier. They will heck you up. They have the most jacked forearms in the world. Bakers and pastry chefs. Oh, because of this. Now, I suppose these days there's more than a few of them that are using all machine assistance, but the traditional methods involves a whisk and a bunch of work. Oh, I don't do this often enough to have really built up the stamina in my forearm. I should do this every day. I should have whipped cream every single day for my health. Right? That makes sense, right? I did this with eggs once. I did by hand, honest, finish to start to finish meringue with a hand whisk, and never again. Good Lord. Respect those traditional French chefs that were always doing their meringues by hand. Because it was about 45 minutes of this. Oh. I wish I was ambidextrous so I could switch to my left, but I can never quite get the speed going with my left. That'd be a fun thing to practice. Doing we can switch to this motion and rotate the ball. An ad's about to start. Tell you what, I'm going to run an ad real quick right now while I'm whisking this. It'll be done when we get back. Deal? Good. See you in a minute and a half. Nearly there. Nearly there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're at runny peaks. I also might have to retire this this whisk in the near future. Oh, got my hand. Oh, got my hand. Oh, oh. Anyway. One time, actually, it was the time I did this with eggs. I did it in a steel bowl, and I abraded the plating on this whisk right at the edges out where the balloon meets. Um, and now, since then, every time I use it, every once in a while, I'll notice a speck like that in whatever I'm whipping. And I worry that it's because of that abraded outer edge. We're back from the ad. Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, I'm still whipping cream, but it's almost ready. It's not quite to soft peaks. And it's holding its shape a bit better. Soft peaks. We could keep going for stiff peaks, but I think we're going to stop at soft peaks today. I do not know how to make a quenelle. A quenelle of whipped cream would be perfect, but I've tried that in the past and it just comes out a mess. So it's one of those things you probably learn at culinary school. How to quenelle. If you don't know what a quenelle is, Google is your friend. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's a little fancy whipped cream thingy. But we are putting the whipped cream on the top of our tall stack here. No. Okay. Now I got to go take a picture of this before everything melts. And then we will come back and we will dig in and I will wax poetic about how good it is. And you'll all get jealous that you can't have it. Whipped cream looks like a fat chicken sitting on top. Does that, oh, you can't quite see it. Shade. It's hard to see. It looks more like in the pictures I took just now. Like a little fat chicken sitting on top. The time has come. The time has come. We should taste. before I taste this, let's taste the snacking pancake, the weird one. Tastes fantastic. Tastes like a pancake. Mmm. Mmm. That's actually a really good pancake. Um, that's actually a top-notch pancake. I'm very impressed with my own self because I just kind of wung. We wung that one. But we got to take a bite of these for real with all the elements in place. With our tall stack here. Mmm. Mmm. Mm-hmm. 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 Now those are good pancakes. They're light and fluffy, but they've still got a nice chew to them. This this stuff, I kind of want more of the stuff on there, honestly. This stuff is great. It's got this lovely tropical flavor. It's actually surprisingly delicate flavor. I'll add more as I get further into the stack, instead of now. It's a pretty delicate flavor. It's got this lovely tropicalness to it, but it's not like mango is a very strong flavor. This is a very delicate flavor. That complements the cream. It goes so well with dairy. The cream and this fruit are like the perfect pairing. Um, it really makes me want to try making the ice cream out of this, or even a shake. So one of the recipes I saw was evaporated milk, can of evaporated milk, and then like half of one of these things. Blend it together, drink it. That's it. Mm. So I didn't do a recipe for those pancakes, but I know some people aren't in America, and frankly, you are missing out on pancakes. I have seen UK pancakes, and I'm sure they're tasty, but they're a different thing. They're a different beast altogether than these fluffy cakes of goodness. Mm. Mm. I'm gonna eat this whole stack. This is very delicious, and I'm very hungry. And I worked up even more of an appetite with all that whisking just now. Um, mm. So this guy is yeah, well, you can has other things. Their pancakes are falling short. They've got other things. They've got other things that are primo. Um, this guy is super ripe, and he's now been cut open. So we're gonna have to use him. But I don't think I'm going to use him any further today, just right now. I will take photos and demonstrate whatever I come up with for that. Um, I think you can make your own clotted cream. I should look that up and do a demonstration of clotted cream. Because I've heard of making your own at home. But I've never looked into it. Mm. Mm. If we go any further, I'm just going to sit here and polish this stack of pancakes off, which I would enjoy, but I don't think Mukbang is what people come here for. Because the more I eat, the less I talk. We're going to use up all of the remaining goo and whipped cream on this stack, though. So I'm going to have a very, very delightful next several minutes as I polish this thing off. I wish I could share some of it with you. Um, it's a winner. This fruit is a winner. Now I'm just tearing off chunks and doing a zippy. Mm. Pancakes and whipped cream are healthy, right? This is a good healthy breakfast. Sure. We'll go with good healthy breakfast. It's fresh fruit. How could it be unhealthy? Well, it has been a real delightful time for me. This is our finished result, and I would like to tuck in while it's still nice and warm. So, in fact, I've already been tucking in because I was very, very hungry. And I told you we are going to probably have a little bit of a shorter one today on account of pancakes not taking very long and not wanting to do too much to the fresh fruit. I'm going to have to wrap that carefully. Use it today or tomorrow for sure. I might even be able to make ice cream later today and freeze it and show it off. At this point, I want to do something where I'll preserve the rest of this thing. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out. Always a pleasure. We had our first visit from Nomios, friend of the channel, I think. I know Nomi from Billy's channel. So very happy to see you here, Nomi. I know you had to go, but thank you. And of course our longtime friends, Sizan, Goldie, Felix is here somewhere. We did 3 streams this week, and I did not feel like I was overwhelmed with dishes or overwhelmed with trying to come up with ingredients and ideas. So maybe we will make Thursday a more regular occurrence. One people showed up on Thursday too, so that was good. So I guess keep an eye out for that. I'm not going to put it on my schedule just yet, but Thursday worked out, so let's keep an eye out for that. Let's see who's on that we can go handing off to. What is Tiny playing? Oh, I gotta open up a tab, a muted tab. What is Tiny playing right now? Something. Oh, ooh. First playthrough, day 1. Let's go check out that. First playthrough, day 1, Half-Life 2. We're gonna go see Tiny Shark. I caught her part of her first playthrough of Half-Life 1, which was delightful. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. We're gonna have to come up with an idea for this thing next. Yes, I still have it. It's hard as a rock. I'm not sure how to use it at this point. We'll make we could make Hellfire Stew out of that. We could make Hellfire Stew out of that thing. Stay tuned. I think I'm going to try to make a Hellfire Stew out of this rock hard dried up baguette that I didn't get to and then didn't get to and then didn't get to. That'll be That'll be a fun change. But yeah, Miss Sepsi, thank you. Enjoy your Saturday as well. Enjoy your Saturday, everyone. Have a good time. We're going to say hi to Tiny Shark. Bye. And then we push the button.